that has big literary roots. Nan Shepherd just lived back up the hill there, so it's like she's literally looking down on us. And Ali's grandpa was a great writer as well, and Ali himself knew Gavin Maxwell. So we're surrounded by the literary greats that is a spirit at this party. So the first poem I'm going to do here is called Bucket List. And in Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire, they do a thing called Open Doors Day. And so I went along to a bucket mill, and it was fabulous. It was in Fingen, and they had saws, and they had so many photo opportunities. But what they didn't have was a bucket. And I thought that was a bit weird, so I asked them, why is there no finished wooden bucket? And they said it's because they gave the last one to Prince Charles. So that made me feel a little bit weird. Anyway, that inspired this poem, which is an environmental poem, and it's called Bucket List. There's a hole in my planet, dear Greta, dear Greta. There's a hole in my planet, dear Greta, a hole. Then mend it, dear Charlie, King Charlie, dear Charlie. Then mend it, dear Charlie, King Charlie, fix it. With what shall I fix it, dear Greta, dear Greta? With what shall I fix it, dear Greta, with what? Plant forests, dear Charlie, King Charlie, dear Charlie. Plant forests, dear Charlie, dear Charlie. Grow trees. But trees grow too slowly, dear Greta, dear Greta. Saplings take ages, dear Greta, no time. Stop oil then, dear Charlie, King Charlie, dear Charlie. No drilling, dear Charlie, King Charlie, stop oil. Then how should one travel, dear Greta, dear Greta? Then how might one travel, dear Greta, just how? Bipedal, dear Charlie, King Charlie. Now Charlie, start pushing, dear Charlie, by e-bike head down. One's knees just can't take it, dear Greta, dear Greta. On our knees already, dear Greta, no puff. Eat your greens, old beans, King Charlie, dear Charlie. Eat spinach, dear Charlie, King Charlie. Pop eye. I'd miss steak and gravy, dear Greta, dear Greta. I'd miss steak and foie gras, dear Greta. Eat cake. Your toxins need flushing, dear Charlie, old Charlie. Whole system needs whooshing, dear Charlie. Water. The water's all poopy, dear Greta, dear Greta. Potable no longer, dear Greta. It's crap. Dig deeper, dear Charlie, King Charlie, dear Charlie. Melt Arctic, dear Charlie, King Canute. Moulins. Tides rising all round us, dear Greta, dear Greta. Up scepter my necktie. God, Greta, drowning. Build an ark then, Charlie. Find species to join you, King Charlie, in twos. Few creatures remaining, dear Greta, dear Greta. Just rats, sheep and chickens, dear Greta, no bees. Time to bail then, Charlie, King Charlie, dear Charlie. Get bailing, dear Charlie. The bucket, get to. There's a hole in my bucket, dear Greta, it's kicked. There's a hole in our planet, dear Greta, too late. Thank you very much for joining in there, that was great. So Aberdeen was really blessed to have the tall ships, and I thought I'd like to try and write something nautical. And there's a very famous Aberdeen-built ship, and it's called the Thermopylae. So this poem follows Coleridge's Tale of the Ancient Mariner, which you might remember is a great long poem with the water, water, not a drop to drink. So this is just a work in progress, not quite finished it, but here we go. It's called Thermopylae Rhyme. Folk throng to catch a lookie, fluttering tall ships, quay stowed, and all manny stroke it his beard. Mine o' michty times, proud. Built fine for the Aberdeen line, record bracken clipper, fleeter for the tea in China. Thermopylae skipper. Fleeing o'er the waves, wool licht canny wagers, rich. Rival fae Bervie, Hercules Linton's comely witch. Racing Cutty Sark to London, Quine was now in sight. Thermopylae kept gan strong like, came first by 7 nicht. Yon mariner tugs my jacket, yella o a crane. There's nae sic thing as time fae quine, the stakes are the same. Mucket coal steamers, traded goods, rock elm, out to grass, use to amuse, target practice, model, class, a hin glass. The Persians battled the Spartans, Thermopylae's hate dates, entrance to Hades' underworld, Cerberus and the Fates. New the race is to the bottom, dredging puffers, sand eels. Deep, deep drilling bracks the bed, black gold guppies, feels. Fillies were in the doldrums, Cal sea shrouded in haar. Sic a druth nae dram can quench, for the tea in China. Darker in Poseidon's domain, marine snow, midnight zones. For vampire squid eats detritus, lie fight, albatross bones. Doon in the murk roam ROVs, a shark is trapped fast. Claws, jaws, guy gentle like, crew rescue, nae meant to, free at last. A breeze blast becomes a hoolie, Thermopylae rigget. Yon mariner cries, ca the gird, rum and pep, fair tricket. This last one is actually not written by me, but by a good friend of mine, Hugh McMillan, and it's very personal to me and emotional because we all grew up here and we used to play in these woodies here. So this is The Girls in the Wood. There's a mob of small girls who roam the woods here. You can hear distant calls like birds or monkeys, but it's rare to see them. Folk who do are eager to pass the knowledge on. Almost in hushed tones, they say, yes, we maybe spied them under a bridge, wading in green water. Or, I'm sure I caught a glimpse by the old deer hide. They were wearing red Wellingtons. I think it is the mob of small girls in the woods who built that shelter, made of intricately laced branches, hazel twisted into ribs, and logs inside for tiny seats. They are never there when I pass, though often there is a slight stir as if the place has just emptied, and I imagine in the shadows between trees, those leaves, wet with rain, our eyes gleaming. Whatever it is about the mob of small girls in the woods, they are not fairies or ghosts. Though sometimes when I hear cries lost in the wind, I let myself feel they are. That is ridiculous. In the village, these girls are well known, but in the woods, when people talk of it, the smedum, the indivisibility, it takes them back. Even the hardest of them, who have lost the most, it takes them back. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Fin Hall, who is one of the instigators of Poets in the Park, which happens in Aberdeen every Sunday. And he is going to share with you some of his work that he's going to do at the Fringe in Dundee. Fin Hall.
I retired a couple of years ago, and folks says to me, "You've got to get a hobby, get a hobby." I says, "A hobby? What hobbies?" Well, DIY. Oh, bugger that. I've still got a scar here from first year in primary school, when nobody got the film, first week in secondary school. And I actually got a big scar here from this year, when I nearly cut my finger off with a chainsaw. And I thought, bugger that. I have a hobby. I'm a collector of words. I'm a word collector, a collector of words, from the ones most common to others quite absurd. I put them down on paper and file them in my thoughts. It's not a haiku, an epitaph or prose, it's my decision where each word goes. Lyrical, sonic, concrete, onyclastic, verbally or orally, all of them fantastic. It's not a villanelle, tanka or rhyme, just a collection of words. Sometimes in order and not in other times. Alliteration of literacy, that's my choice. Limerick, Kinquan and old, I think I will pass. It's not quite my voice. Bordering close to the margin, the font doesn't matter. From the first to the last, a ghazal or an epic, one line or two, epigram, acrostic, pen, back of blue. I'm collecting some words. How about you? Sonnet? Verse, free or blank, I'm storing the words in a safe word bank. Pantom and others, write it all down, save it, store it, never ignore it. Big up the long ones, verbose or forgotten. I'll not come up short. Some words long forgotten. Nouns and adverbs, adjectives and more, pronouns, prepositions, interjections. Sure, but stop. Now I'm just listening. Do I sense offensiveness? Thanks for your support. I will keep on collecting. I will not abort. I am a word collector. A collector of words. My whole set is basically about being old. Right? I'm quite happy being old. I love being old. And it's all about how people see you. You know how to see it. This one's called Skin. You just see the skin, not the one who lives within. The wrinkles, cuts, freckles and hair, without an idea who exists in there. When you only look with your peripheral vision. When you only look with your peripheral vision, not knowing what the septuagenarian outer shell disguises. Hope you don't mind surprises. You just don't know. I'm happy loner in the crowd. You just don't see. I have one tattoo, that's all. Attained upon my well-worn skin. You think I could walk you under the table? Well, if it's silly, I'm less able. But, and it's a big but, don't jump to any conclusions. This smooth-faced skin is just an illusion. I've earned the tears, the bumps and gashes that creeping, crawling time surpasses. It only tells you what you see. I keep within the real me. I'm deaf, a bit blind, but I don't mind. My glasses help me read a book, and like me, you may discover that old adage, don't judge a book by its cover. Hard cover, soft cover, I can be bold. Inside, bubbling up, troubling up, boiling stills. Oh, no, I'm fine in this skin. In this skin, neither thick nor thin, a human being lives within. Surface-wise, I may look fine, but underneath the muscle mass, the nerves entwine, twisting, coiling, angst and pain, outside, inside. It's not the same. Not the same. You just don't know. This one was written back. Thank you. This one was written back just COVID time. I used to be a taxi driver for millions of years. I first met you in my taxi. It's called Closed Captions English Standard. I wear hearing aids, and I'm what they call profoundly deaf. I hear, but I sometimes have difficulty picking out actual words that people are saying. I find it hard sometimes to catch all the words my fellow poets are saying when they do their readings. I wish the world came with subtitles. I mean, it's bad in my taxi with the masks and the screen between me and my passengers to get them to speak clearly and give me their destination. I wish the world came with subtitles. I mean, watching TV is great when programs have closed captions, but I hate it when they don't, or some on-demand shows don't, or when the words are behind the actual audio. I wish the world came with subtitles. In this constantly masked-off world, concessions are made for many, but the city centres are blocked off for disabled people, and deaf people can get out, but can't see what you're saying. Think about that. I wish the world came with subtitles. And I play my music too loud, my radio goes on too loud, my podcasts go on too loud. I'm not too proud if you ask me to turn it down. I don't know, I don't realise, I can't be sure how loud it is to you. I know how loud it is to me, loud, but not too. I wish the world came with subtitles. I mean, hearing aids aren't perfect. They don't make you hear things normal, they help. I'm not ignoring you. Your words are important, very important. It's just, well, I can't explain, which is strange for one who uses words to make a point, tell a story, let you know I'm sorry. I wish the world came with subtitles. I take them out, almost silence. Can barely hear the washing machine, the noisy washing machine when I'm in the kitchen beside it, go round and round. The morning alarm, don't get me started. It rings for ages, disturbing my wife, waking her and when she doesn't need to be awake. And I don't hear it until it gradually gets louder. I wish the world came with subtitles. I wasn't born this way. It's hereditary. My grandma, my father's side, then my dad, and you never went to see about it. Then me, now my daughter, now half my grandchildren. My grandma's aid was big and hung and sat beneath her top. It squeaked. Squeaked feedback. This is supposed to squeak, I think. It squeaks feedback if you want too close to it. You have to speak into the box at times to be heard in a world before subtitles. I do sometimes enjoy the silence, I said, switching mine off or taking them out and being alone in my head. Enjoy the silence of being at one with me. But then I still need to know when I get shouted down for my tea, and yes, I realise I should make sure the volume on my phone is up. But wouldn't it be great if the world came with subtitles? Floating in the air, words destined for only the people they are meant for. Or flick an imaginary switch and you can see everybody's words. Floating, soaring, shouting, swearing, counting, caring. Perfect for a found poem. The silence of constant chatter in a world where words do matter. Choose your font, choose your language. Hit translate. Was that? Too late. Your word escaped in the breeze to hide amongst the trees in a world before subtitles. Thank you. This one actually came, I was watching a fabulous movie by the great Timothy Spall on TV recently called It Snows in Benidorm. And it's a thing about being old. It's called Give Me Calloused Hands and Tender Hearts. Older. It gets tiring trying so hard all the time. That's why I often switch to power-saving mode, and the load slips off my shoulders easily, and the need for urgency recedes daily. And vast pages of clouds are on the shelf above the emails read. But sometimes snows in Benidorm, and I sneak out the door as no one's dared to look and go home to my last biscuit. Today, someone younger will be sitting in my chair thinking they invented sex and drugs and rock and roll. But in reality, it's partly cloudy with some sunshine and the sound of climate change ringing in your ears. But you'd never heard of Led Zeppelin, strangely, whereas I had heard of George Formby. It's not a judgment I'm making, not forsaking the follies of youth, it just is. And out with the realms of age we live, hoping one of those nights will arrive before the storms, timeless reminders of where I was before, not looking back at hopeless times. Nah, you can keep your searching youth, and some things are more beautiful when they are rusty, and being in a dark place is good at times, as the bright lights often hide those that need to be seen. So, give me calloused hands and tender hearts about the greedy times in which we live, and I will seek out new adventures, content with a contentment in my soul. A friend once asked me,
what can I learn from a friend like you? At first glance, you might wonder what we have in common. 3 decades between us, and yet I identify there's something about you, that sparkle in your eye. Tell me your story, the things you think I should know, years of wisdom that can help me grow, and you can ask me anything in return.
thank you for the opportunity. I would never presume to be wiser than you. The knowledge I have is due to those paths I've crossed. The little I've gained so far is but a drop in the ocean compared to what there is to know. I may have more experience than you, but your experiences are different to me and as important. We've both gained knowledge from knowing each other. It's knowledge of knowing that will help keep me growing. And all I would ask for y'all, it's not a difficult task. It's not to dwell in the past. There is a difference between nostalgia and memories. There is no good old days, because in between the happy happenings, the sad ones existence too. For every one that made you smile, another one made you blue. They say you only remember the good times. Sure, that's often the case, and sometimes the bleak times fade with age. Sometimes. But if you've never known down, how would you know what's up? And you won't always be the young pup. But I rejoice at being this age, my age. And whilst there may be things I wouldn't do again, as I'm now a septuagenarian, they help me make me who I am. Slow down. What now? No, not me. You see, I still have lots of things I want and need to do before my time is done. As long as I can walk and think and, no, not quite run, but keep on doing the things I do, trying new things. It's trying to expand my range, never, ever, ever be afraid of change. I realise that I will not be in first choice in fights, but that's all right. I've never been ingrained in any gang, and I still have plenty to say. And without arrogance getting in the way, it's your loss, not mine or others. The older folks, well, we will tell our tales and share our words, and if you think that's absurd, then that's your problem, not ours. I am aware, very much aware, that I'm in my latter stages. So that means not caring for fashions or the latest rages, but I can still develop, still do more. Don't limit myself in my choices. Despite my years, despite my time, I will keep on changing, for I am Septimus Prime. Right. Well, Couple more to do and they've over. A lot of swearing, son. If you're a friend of tough fucking luck. This one's called I Bequeath. I bequeath to my mother all the lost confidence I had as a child and as a teenager until my midlife crisis when I bought 2 pairs of Cuban-heeled winkle picker boots able to walk and hold my head up high in public. Not easy. And then at 65 I learned to stand up on the stage and take command. To all the group of passengers in over 45 years of taxi driving that waited for their 10 or 20 pence change, especially waiting staff who boasted about all the tips they made and then left none. Guys on big business accounts, those asking for a receipt for more than the fare, but only paying the fare. I wrote the correct price down but signed names like Adolf Hitler and Mickey Mouse. To you, I leave the steam off my shite. The same steam I wouldn't give to folk I know and don't like. To students, fucking students, who expect to use your car as a means of flitting, moving boxes and bags and pillows and dragging all their earthly belongings, and some devilish ones as well, into the taxi, expecting you to just pile them up inside on the floor and the seats and squeezing tight the fucking door, relocating just the next street down. Standing there, mouth agape, as I inspected to pack the boot. I bequeath to you a shopping trolley, the one you used originally to wheel your pal home with a traffic cone. I leave to those who take me for granted, I should have it here, this plastic bag in which I've just farted, a reminder of the stench you leave that they're using me and get me to believe that you appreciate my work. Instead, you were just a jerk, doing it for your own sake and making me just another step. And finally, I bequeath to my first wife, who buggered off on her daughter's 3rd birthday, taking all the cigarettes and cash, leaving our 2 kids with me, and the social worker tried to take over my dead body, I said. You get nothing, just a hole in the ground which I hope is damp and dank and full of all the darkest things that the rest of your selfish life may share, if you're not dead already, and cause such torment in your head. But then again, if not for them, I may not be here where I am now. But still, enjoy the whole. Right. Finally. There's a response to this at the very end, which I usually tell people to do, but I haven't. But at the very end, if you all want to shout, no, you fuck off, I'll be quite happy. This one's called Ode to Fuck. Sanctimonious people lurk in purple corners, prim and proper in their minds, popping out to hear your tale, eyes wide, attentive ears, eager listeners, just my kind. Silent and paying attention lest they miss the salient point, nodding heartily in agreement as from the cloisters of my mind blessed words to them I might. Then there's that look. You know what it means. I was like with you there until you swore. I swore? Of course I fucking swore. Just be objective of the adjective. I'm describing fuckers like you. You know, with your... No need for that stare. There are several degrees of annoyances. They're a bit annoying. God, aren't they annoying? No, they really are annoying. For fuck's sake, the fuck they have to be so fucking annoying for? Living as they do, with sideways glances in the 21st century patter vacuum, judging others for their choice of words where anything else would be absurd. It's not a hole. It's not a big hole. It's a fucking big hole. There is no other way to say it. I like coffee shops, vape stores and sadly beggars. And now reform voters. There's one of you on every corner. You can't tell me what to write or what to say. You're not my editor in any fucking way. It's my poem, my story. Oh my, you're getting on your high horse over things I say and speaking thus. I have no shame shadow hanging over me, no leaking eyes or false remorse. My course is not deliberately coarse, my path not rough, but you are still a tippy-fish. And I don't suffer from coup de clasm. You're fucking with me, well, I don't give a toss. I can tell you to go off, but that makes no sense. Whereas if I say, fuck off. All right, thank you.